It looked like Adam Silver has found himself in some serious hot water over the management of the WNBA. This whole situation with the WNBA is looking real spooky. Interview Adam Silver just did on NBC, because this interview right here has caused a bunch of friction within the WNBA. Because I'm here to tell you, the Caitlin Clark hype is starting to die down. Kathy Engelbert is simply shredding this league.
Right after praising the WNBA for its historic growth, Adam Silver followed it up with a line that no one saw coming. He said there are relationship issues inside the league. That one phrase lit up the basketball world. Fans are asking, was this a slip-up or a rare moment of truth from the NBA's top boss?
Based off the current ratings, they don't need Caitlin Clark anymore. At least they think they don't need Caitlin Clark. And it's not only just this interview. We have to talk about the ratings looking a little spooky.
You can choose to sell your team in your same market. You can't choose to sell your team to a different market, and that's where it stands right now.
Because the way he said it made players feel like their trust issues just got confirmed. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. Costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video.
This current interview right here got Adam Silver in worlds of heat online, man.
The territory in which a team can market itself is different than a team moving to a different area.
What it comes down to is the league's definition of market, which is completely up to them.
Everyone expected Adam Silver's interview to be all smiles and headline stats about the WNBA's historic growth. Instead, he shifted gears mid-sentence and mentioned relationship issues inside the league. That single phrase flipped the tone instantly. What was meant to sound transparent came off like he just admitted that trust between players and leadership is broken on national TV. He tried to balance his praise for Kathy Engelbert with realism, but blending those two messages backfired fast. The compliment to critique switch hit a nerve with players.
Adam Silver is Kathy's boss, and he is the commissioner of the NBA.
Yep.
He made a statement a couple days ago.
Candace Parker with Aaliyah Boston on this Post Moves podcast they got.
It's not about viewership. It's, at this point, seems like there's relationship issues.
Many felt like he'd exposed private frustrations that should have been handled behind closed doors. On social media, some fans said Silver was just being honest. Others accused him of hypocrisy, pointing out that the league's explosion in visibility has more to do with Caitlin Clark's arrival than any clever executive strategy. It started to sound like Silver was using Clark's popularity as a shield, trying to hide the cracks forming inside the league office. His attempt to lift Engelbert ended up doing the opposite. By jumping into WNBA business himself, he made it look like the NBA was still pulling the strings. That rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, especially when Candace Parker shared her story about hearing more from Silver than Engelbert. She described how he personally reached out during big moments in her life while Engelbert barely made contact.
I signed a deal with Amazon to broadcast for Amazon. I got a text from Adam Silver saying congratulations. I retired. Adam Silver sent me a text message that basically congratulated me on my career and how much I've done for the women's game, and he looked forward to how much I'm going to do from the sideline.
That made the issue feel less professional and a lot more personal. Then came the wave of posts from players and fans calling his remark proof that leadership trust was falling apart. Players said, "You can't fix relationship issues when one side won't even talk to us." What began as an attempt at awareness ended up fueling a new worry, that the league's success is being built on fragile ground.
I have not heard from Kathy. I saw Kathy in Phoenix. And I say that if the NBA is our blueprint, then we have to look at that from top to bottom. We can't just choose what we look at that as. After I had been retired for 4 months at Phoenix All-Star Game, and she said congratulations in person.
And now, that instability could become a real problem with talks over media rights and the CBA coming up next. On paper, everything about the WNBA looks great right now. Ratings are up, games are sold out, and social media has never been louder. But if things are going so well, why are players talking about distrust, leadership issues, and even the possibility of a lockout? The numbers may be historic, but what's happening behind those stats tells a different story.
Mike stated Nelson did not begin including out-of-home viewing in its estimates until 2020. How are you supposed to get an accurate year-over-year comparison? Many were saying the numbers seemed off. WNBA Finals Game 1 viewership past decade. My homeboy Mike said, so you mean to tell me they changed the way they calculate TV ratings now?
Adam Silver's effort to highlight the league's momentum ended up shining a light on something way more complicated. He praised what he called the league's historic ratings, yet analysts started asking if the surge was as real as it looked. Changes in how audiences are counted by Nielsen meant digital and streaming views now count differently, and that inflated the appearance of growth.
It's a damn good question. How does it happen? ESPN scored the most watched Game 1 of the WNBA Finals presented by YouTube TV in 28 years, when literally nobody is talking about the actual finals. 1.9 million viewers on average, up 62% year on year. Peak 2.5 million.
When Silver repeated that historic label, it started to feel like spin, not substance. Players watching this unfold said it felt like their struggles were being glossed over in favor of a good headline. That's when Sophie Cunningham's name popped up again. She hinted that players were already talking about holding out if leadership didn't start listening. The focus shifted from Caitlin Clark's popularity and highlight reels to doubts about whether change was actually happening. Candace Parker's frustration about hearing more from Silver than Kathy Engelbert became more than a personal gripe. It turned into a sign of something larger. A credibility crisis at the top. Players called what's happening the scarcity loop, meaning every time leadership tries to clarify, it only deepens mistrust. Statements sound too corporate, too rehearsed, and too distant, and the timing couldn't be worse.
When the commissioner of another league is fulfilling a role and your actual commissioner is not, but it's very clear that the women in this league expect this kind of thing. Should they? That's another argument. That's where the perception is all jacked up, and it causes a real problem here.
With new media rights deals being negotiated, the league can't afford to look divided. What Silver accidentally revealed wasn't a PR problem. It was that the players want leadership that puts them first, not just leadership that celebrates their numbers. Because if that gap doesn't close soon, everything they've built could face its toughest test yet. Adam Silver tried to sound honest, but his words might have done the opposite. Players heard that comment and thought, so they really don't listen. It's the kind of moment that says more than a press release ever could. The tension now isn't about ratings, it's about trust. Can the WNBA keep building if the foundation feels cracked? Growth based on one superstar and shaky leadership can only hold for so long. The next few months will tell us whether this moment gets buried or becomes the spark that forces the league to finally start listening.